we are still in a news environment in which there are good polls. And particularly where in some states there is a gold standard pollster who appears to be unaffected by larger dynamics that are making everybody whine about the polls. And the reason those individual pollsters get the gold standard designation is both because of their proven sound methodology, but also because of their track record over time in that particular jurisdiction. And the prototypical example of a gold standard poll is the Iowa poll done by Selzer, by Ann Selzer in Iowa. The polls that she produces for the Des Moines Register in Iowa, specifically the final Iowa polls she does before each major election, her polls are known for their uncanny predictive accuracy. This is Ann Selzer's recent track record. I mean, what you see here is in each election year, what her final poll said the result would be in Iowa. Next to that is what the actual result was on Election Day. And as you can see, if you look at the Senate and presidential races since 2012, her poll has accurately predicted the winner of the Senate and presidential races in Iowa within 1 or 2 points every time. There was a governor's race in 2018 where things went a little bit gang-a-glay, but in Senate and presidential races, you have seen Ann Selzer basically as a living bullseye. And that's why lots of people had strong reactions when the Des Moines Register Ann Selzer Iowa poll was posted last night. This is that poll, and it is a shock result.
Okay, so Noah, are you able to put up that tweet? Maybe it's not that I can't see it because it's up. It's up. All right, Ann, are you able to see that?
Yes.
Okay. Could you just go through and say what you think about those criticisms?
Well, I'm trying. This is in a format that's a little difficult for me to see. What does this D represent and the R represent?
D. So they're saying that, and again, he says read through the Selzer crosstabs.
Yeah.
So they're saying that they know that this poll shows, and again, it's they say your sample it's more 3% more Democrats than Republican, whereas the electorate last time was 8% more Republican. It says that you have Indies voting Democrat +4, whereas last time they voted or +7, +4. So they're saying if you compare what you have with what happened in 20, according to the exit polls, it's way too big a change across all these groups in a uniform way towards pro-Harris as opposed to Trump.
Yeah. Well, this is the first time I'm seeing this, and so it's sort of against my nature to think I understand everything that this is saying, and I haven't cross-checked these numbers to know how that actually pans out. But I'm going to say that it is clear that senior women are an advantage to Kamala Harris in our poll. Kamala Harris wins by more than 2 to 1, actually, maybe even more than that among senior women. It's a big, big spread. So I don't know. I mean, the truth of it.
Again, I want to repeat, Kamala Harris is up in the Iowa Selzer poll. She has 47%, Trump has 44%. This is, if you're in the Trump campaign, this is a 5-alarm fire, man. This is like shit, all hands on deck. We are hurting, we are hemorrhaging at the moment. We got to do something to try to stop the bleeding because look, let's just say it, right? Does this mean Florida truly is in play for Kamala, right? Does this mean Ohio might actually be in play for Kamala? I mean, now you begin to start having the conversations. Forget the 7 swing states we already talk about all the time. Are there other states that we don't perceive of as swing states that might actually be on the table now, right? I saw some polls coming out of Kansas that had her down like 5 points, right? I mean, in striking distance in Iowa, look, again, I want to be clear, even if she ends up losing Iowa, and let's say she loses it by a point or two, that is still, this is what everybody needs to understand, that is still an absolute cataclysmic disaster for Trump and the Republicans. Because this does not bode well for their chances in the other states, right? Certainly not in the swing states. So, look, all those segments that we've covered over the past 2 or 3 weeks where I've been telling you guys, hey, man, she's running a pretty good campaign. Hey, man, the poll results are looking really good. Hey, man, the early voting results are looking really good. It appears to be complete and utter vindication now. So one of the things I'm working on.
It was some 10 million Biden voters who decided not to vote this time, and that's directly tied to misinformation. You know, they don't like Trump, but, you know, they're thinking, well,
do we really pick up more votes this time than he did in 2016?
Pardon me?
Did Donald Trump pick up more votes this time than he did in 2016?
Yeah,
or
but
2020?
Not he picked up in 2020, the most relevant last election. He picked up about the same.
What I'm saying is that both sides can say things like this, like misinformation. It's hard to quantify that.
If you don't let me make my points, why do you have me on?
No, wait, look, it's a conversation. It's spirited. I think there's a little bit of a debate.
We're done.
I
you
think
don't let me talk. What's the point?
You can
Are you the expert or am I the expert? You can question me.
You so claim to be an expert. Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. The critical thing in this election were at least 10 million Biden voters who did not vote. if even half of them had voted, this election would have been different.
We hope to have you back in 4 years. There is a little bit of a delay,
gosh.
Professor Lichtman, so I apologize if we were stepping on each other's toe. Our intent was, of course, to listen to what you had to say. And like you said, you were wrong. But maybe in 4 years, we'll get back on track. Again, Alan Lichtman with us here on the DMV Zone. We appreciate it.
A few moments later.
First on 13 this morning, top pollster Ann Selzer announcing that she plans on retiring from election polling. The announcement comes this morning after Selzer and the Des Moines Register predicted Vice President Kamala Harris leading President-elect Trump 47 to 44% in the final poll ahead of Election Day.